Hey YouTube, it's Little Rocker Cutie 2005, also known as Andre here. And once again, I am chilling with Buffyxenaman, also known as Chris. And we are here with an early morning video for you. I'm not sure exactly when this will be uploaded, but we're going to give you a few of our choices for some underrated movies. As you can see, I'm trying kind of a new look. I got a new hat, and I'm wearing a hoodie from a friend of mine. Lil Craze 25 got me this. And this Stewie shirt I got over the summer, but enough about that. Let's get into the movies.
Alright. First one I picked is Dragon Ball Z Evolution. People tend to pass this over because it's a live action version of the anime. We saw this when it came out on DVD. We rented it. We loved it.
They either pass over it or shit on it.
Yes, you have to watch it to either know you like it or not. We watched it. We liked it.
Yeah.
They, for the most part, kept true to the story, except the part Goku goes to high school.
I have no idea where they were going with that.
I get live action, and I don't know. But this supposed to be a sequel, I heard, but
Hasn't happened yet.
right. So pretty much, it still follows the same storyline, but they mixed up the sagas a little, and Piccolo is in this one.
In the evil?
Yeah, the evil Piccolo, King Piccolo. So this is a good movie. People don't pass it over. Give it like a look over once.
Yeah, it's a good one. First one up for me, it's an animated one. It's a double feature. It's, yeah, the glare here. The Secret of Nim. Now, I'm only showing this because I want to talk about the first one. I watched it a lot as a kid, and it's one of those animated movies I hardly hear anybody talk about anymore. And it's one that dealt with some dark stuff, and as I said in the previous video, it was probably the first cartoon I heard a curse word in, and it was just one that I grew up loving, and I'm glad to have this double feature. Secret of Nim. First one, very underrated.
Titan AE. This is definitely one of the movies I would consider underrated.
Don Bluth's last feature film.
Yep. It has a good storyline. It's about these electrified aliens type creatures. And they blew up the earth and mankind scattered around, and Dredge, or something like that. Dredge has the plans to make a new Earth in his palm of his hand. And
oh no, that's Kale. The Dredge were the villains.
Okay, the Dredge are the villains, and Kale has the blueprints to get the Earth back and with his hand remake it. Yeah, good storyline, great animation. It takes place like in a
They did a good job with it.
In a Disney feature like of 3028. I don't know why people shit on this movie.
I liked it.
I
mean, for an animated movie, I mean,
I don't know. It's like it stars Matt Damon and Drew Barrymore.
they definitely had a good cast.
Yep.
I got a couple horror movies here. First up, Happy Birthday to Me. Now, the reason I think this is underrated is because it came out around the same time as My Bloody Valentine and all these other like holiday slasher movies, and I think this one was kind of overlooked. I think nowadays it's developed kind of a cult fan base, but it's a really good one, and it's got, well, most people would know Melissa Sue Anderson from Little House on the Prairie, but there's some people like Matt Craven, who would later appear in Disturbia. I don't remember who he played. I only watched this movie once, but from my viewing of it, underrated, and I truly enjoyed it.
Condemned. See Boston. I've seen this movie a couple times. It's not too bad of a movie.
For a movie with a wrestler, it's one of the better ones.
Yes, and people overlook this for some odd reason.
I don't know the reason other than the fact that maybe Stone Cold's in it.
We will be saying that a lot. So, just to let you be warned. So,
yeah, these are just some of our picks. Next up for me, I've got Disturbing Behavior. James Marsden, Katie Holmes, and Nick Stahl. They're three, like, rebel kids, and they're trying to stop this takeover by this... They're like this club called the Blue Ribbons, and actually what's going on is this guidance counselor is taking all the rejects and turning them into, like, straight A students, and these three, they kind of rebel and try and escape. One of them gets caught, which leaves it open for a sequel. I won't reveal the ending, but it does leave it open for a sequel. This movie was probably overlooked because it came out around the same time as The Faculty, which did a lot more business, I think. And all in all, I think this was a pretty good movie. If you haven't seen it, I'd highly recommend Disturbing Behavior.
Vacancy. Luke Wilson and Kate Beckinsale. We saw he got this. We watched it one night, and it was a pretty good movie. And this was pretty much overlooked.
Yeah. It did get a sequel, though.
I watched that. Actually, I found it kind of pointless for it.
Because it was supposed to be a prequel.
Yeah, I found it kind of pointless. So.
I never saw it. I just like this one.
Yeah, this one should have been a standalone horror movie, but they made it pretty cool. It's a decently written movie.
Yeah. I have here another horror movie. A fairly underrated sequel. Jaws 2. Now, I only saw this for the first time probably a couple months ago when I got it. And it was one that I really enjoyed it, probably as much as the first one. Because they took Jaws and they turned it into a slasher flick. I mean, they followed the rules that Scream 2 kind of gives out. You know, the body count being bigger, death scenes being more elaborate. They did a good job with this one. It's another one I liked.
Matilda, starring Danny DeVito, Rhea Perlman, Emma Davis, Pam Ferris, and Maya Wilson.
What can be said about this one?
Wasn't that based off a book?
Yes, it was. It was based off a book written by the same person that wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I watched this like years and years ago when it first came out. It was a good movie.
I love it.
So these movies I understand why they're underrated.
It's another one I don't know why it's underrated.
It was cleverly written. It's funny. It's funny.
Next up for me, I have here a Stephen King title. It's Sometimes They Come Back. Now, my bro Lil Craze 25 got me this before it went out of print. I just found that out a couple days ago from, of course, The Horror Man. And I'm really glad to have this one in my collection. I saw it a long time ago, and it was the one I could never find anywhere. And like I said, Lil Craze 25, he ordered it for me, so I thank him for that. And this is just another one that was overlooked by a lot of people. It's a good Stephen King title. I can't see why it would be underrated so much. But if this is another one, if you haven't seen it, check it out.
Carrie 2, The Rage.
Very overlooked.
Yes, because it was a sequel to Carrie and people thought Carrie didn't need a sequel. But it's not it's not as good as the first one, but it's still a good one.
They did it. They took it in a new direction and did a good job with it.
I thought so too. And those preps had it coming.
Yeah. Payback's a bitch.
And she provided it.
Now I have here another Stephen King title. This is Firestarter. Now, this is the 2-movie collection. I only have this out because I like the first one, and it's another one that I think is underrated. I think if Christine hadn't have flopped and John Carpenter had gotten the chance to direct this, and then, like, also if The Thing hadn't flopped, but he was up to direct this, but then both The Thing and Christine flopped, so he pretty much lost his chance. They got, oh, what's his name? The one who directed Class 1984. His name's Mark L. Lester. But he did a fairly capable job with this movie. I have to say, this is one of my favorites with Drew Barrymore when she was a kid. It's probably the first movie I saw her in, and it is still one of my favorites. The sequel, it was made for TV. Not as good as the first one. Probably because it deals with her all grown up. But the first one I would highly recommend, and it's another one I would say if you find this collection, definitely pick it up.
Problem Child 1 and 2. Been a while since I've seen these movies.
It's about a bratty kid.
Yeah, I guess there were people passed over, I guess. I saw these a couple times, and not have my top 50 movies, but
they'd be at least in my top 100.
It's not too bad.
The first one would be in my top 50, definitely. The Runaways. Now, I know a lot of people have heard about this movie. It's got Kristen Stewart and Dakota Fanning, and of course Kristen Stewart's playing Joan Jett, and I can see how this movie would have been overlooked because, you know, a lot of people see Kristen Stewart nowadays and they think Twilight, but she's done a lot of other stuff. I mean, there was Panic Room, Adventureland. She's done a lot of good stuff, but, you know, people just shit on her because, you know, she's known as Bella, and if you watch this movie, it's the total opposite. I mean, she's playing a real-life person, a rock and roller. This is just a phenomenal movie, and another one I would definitely say check out.
Hollow Man, Kevin Bacon.
That was a good one.
People call this a ripoff of Invisible Man.
It kind of was, but it was still good.
Yep. So I guess a lot of people passed it over because, like, that's Invisible Man.
Well, it did do fairly well at the box office.
Yep. So, not much more to say about this movie. Other than
Empire Records. Now, this movie is a cult classic, but I can see why when it came out, it would have flopped and been overlooked by a lot of people. I didn't see this movie until I was in film class in high school, but this was one that the first time I saw it, I really got into it. This is actually the extended cut with 16 minutes of extra footage in it, and I think this is probably the version I would recommend to anybody looking to see this movie. Basically, haven't seen it, give it a look. Hope you enjoy it.
The Brave One, Jodie Foster. I don't know. I can't imagine this movie underrated.
It flopped at the box office.
It's such a damn good movie.
Yeah, it is. I agree.
I don't know why it flopped. It's so damn good.
I know. It was one of those. I don't know why it flopped. It was one of them that I couldn't quit watching.
I know.
Now, next up for me, I'm going to do these all at once because it's a series, but Dirty Harry, Magnum Force, The Enforcer, Sudden Impact, and The Deadpool. Basically what make up the Dirty Harry series. Now, I know a lot of people consider these the best cop movies, but for being Clint Eastwood movies, I feel they're very underrated, and they're ones that I truly enjoy. I'm not big into his westerns, but I like movies where he's playing a cop and stuff like that. But there's some Eastwood movies I think are really good, like $1 Million Baby, for instance, is a really good one. But I don't know. I mean, Dirty Harry was his break from the spaghetti western, Good, Bad, the Ugly, all that. But it turned out to be a really good break, and I think that these are some entertaining movies. And Matt, Ramble Rat for Life, I'm patiently waiting for your reviews on these. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these classics.
And FYI, I hate Middle Dollar Baby. I pulled the plug halfway through the movie.
Well, we all have our own opinions.
Yeah. You pulled the plug on her, I pulled the plug on the TV. Tales from the Hood. Basically a Tales from the Crypt sort of thing. I used to watch this as a kid, and you know what? I liked it.
I watched it as a kid with my grandma. She loved it.
It's like bad guys had it coming.
Yeah.
And the three main bad guys really did have it coming.
Yeah, they did.
I like the story about the monster. And they just...
That one with the voodoo dolls. Oh.
I like that one, kind of.
I like the one about the crooked cops.
Yep.
We're getting to the bottom of the barrel for me here, but I got here Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi in 1941. Now, this is a World War II comedy directed by Steven Spielberg, and it actually tanked at the box office, but it's a really funny movie taking place after Pearl Harbor, and it's just 2.5 hours of non-stop craziness. I mean, Spielberg even parodies his own opening of Jaws in the very beginning of the movie. And this is just one that I found to be very, very entertaining.
Virus with Jamie Lee Curtis.
I think I know why that one's underrated. It came out right after H2O, and H2O hadn't even hit video yet, and all the talk was about H2O, and then she did that, and like nobody went to see it.
That sucks. That must have sucked.
It's about as much as I know. I got here Twister. Now, this movie was pretty big when it came out, but nowadays it gets a lot of shit, and it's one that I still enjoy. I've loved it since I was a kid, and I never got the experience in the theater, but I had a friend who got it before I did, and her parents had a waiting list for it. I think we had to wait like 2 weeks before we saw it, and then a friend of mine got me the VHS for Christmas that year, and I've had this DVD for probably about maybe 10 years now. Maybe a little longer. I'm not sure on that. This was one of the first DVDs I bought when I started collecting. But this is another movie, like one of the few, like, crazy weather movies I really enjoy.
The Strangers.
That's a good one.
Liv Taylor, Scott Speedman. I love this movie. I thought it was awesome.
It was.
Or horror movies, it seems like they've done everything more than once. This was like kind of a fresh idea. I loved it.
The reason this movie's in my collection is because it was actually a recommendation from Lil Craze 25. He told me about it. I saw it. Actually, I watched it with my mom. It scared the hell out of her. Now I've got The Long Kiss Goodnight. This stars Gina Davis and Samuel L. Jackson. This is right after he did Pulp Fiction, and I think this is the only action movie that Gina Davis has ever done. But it was directed by Rennie Harlan, and it's about a school teacher who has amnesia, and she learns she was an assassin for the CIA, and now the people she used to work for want her dead. And that's basically it. It's her quest to stop the bad guys, and she really kicks ass doing it.
Oh, this is an awesome movie too.
Yes, it is. I agree.
First time I saw it, I was like, wow. This is a freaking awesome movie.
Yep. Single
white female. and Bridget Fonda and Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Yep.
About this woman who has a roommate that goes psychotic.
Pretty much.
And wants her dead.
Wants to take over her life.
Oh, yeah. And then she killed her boyfriend.
Yeah, with a stiletto heel.
This woman had, like, long hair, then she cut it, dyed her hair like her roommate's. Like, how do I look?
Tossed the puppy out the window.
Poor puppy. Fuck the boyfriend. Poor puppy. Poor puppy. Can't fly.
Natural Born Killers. This was directed by Oliver Stone, written by Quentin Tarantino. Actually, the story was done by Quentin Tarantino. I don't know who wrote the script, but this movie has an all-star cast, and it was panned when it came out for being, like, ultra-violent. It's probably one of the first true ultra-violent movies of the 90s. But then again, this did come out the same year as Pulp Fiction, so that was a big year for movies like this. But this is one that's been overlooked quite a bit. And, you know, you don't hear about Mickey and Mallory anymore because this is a movie that you don't hear anybody talk about. And I don't know why. Maybe because it's so violent. I mean, but this is just one that I happen to enjoy. I like violence, I'll put it that way.
Right, The Great Mouse Detective. A Disney movie that's been overlooked.
I can explain to you why that was overlooked.
Okay.
When it hit theaters, it was competing with An American Tail.
Yeah, that sucks. I watched this a lot as a kid. I loved it as a kid.
I did too.
I just remember the one scene he followed the pillows and shot them, and the ladies went, "No!"
Yep. The ending was scary, though.
Yep. But it had a happy ending.
Yep. The last one for me is a Ralph Bakshi movie. It is American Pop. Now, I have talked about this a couple times before, but this is one of my favorite movies about music, and it's one of the only animated movies about music. And it's got a lot of great music in it from the 60s and 70s, which is when the bulk of the storyline takes place. But this is one, if you haven't seen it, I would highly suggest you check it out. I found this for pretty cheap on Amazon. Actually, I got it in a deal with another one I'll show off in probably part 2. But this is just one that's enjoyable from start to finish. Some people say this isn't one of Ralph Bakshi's best, but I think he did a good job with the materials he had, and he turned it into a really good movie.
Camp Sleepaway. This is a movie people tend to overlook because, one, I guess it's like a B-type movie.
A Friday the 13th ripoff.
On top of the styles, like, you know, there's A and B.
Yeah.
It looks like a B-rated movie, and I don't know why people overlook it. I watch it. I think it's kind of funny.
Those movies are cool.
Number 2 is my favorite one, though.
Mine too.
My least favorite is, like, the last one they released.
Oh, the 4th one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt no sympathy for that kid.
Yeah, that fat kid. Your ass stinks!
And he didn't change.
I wanted to punch him.
It's like, I don't know, is he is he borderline retarded or something?
Either borderline retarded or borderline psychotic, because you don't know if he's the freaking killer.
I kind of figured he wasn't going to be the killer. And, I don't know, it's like, all the parts of the movie are good, but that kid was not really necessary for that storyline.
Well, it's like with the first one, because they're from the same director. He wanted to throw you off as to who the killer could be. That's why Angela wasn't revealed until the end. Spoiler alert!
I was not fooled, actually. I knew she was be there. I knew it. I didn't know she was the cop. Spoiler, 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 spoiler. But still, I wasn't really fooled. I was like, oh, she's doing it. It's that retarded kid. I was not fooled.
It's not Return to Sleepaway Camp for nothing.
Yeah, damn straight. And that laugh at the end.
And that look.
Yep.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, I got some more.
Yeah, you guys. I don't have any more.
Now then.
One of my personal favorites.
Starring a shitload of people.
Yep, a lot of good people.
This is like one of those movies if you want to not have a real deep plot, keep you thinking, but you want something to watch and relax watching, this will be it. This would be an awesome movie to watch, relaxing.
It's just one of them movies that you can just kick back, put in, and enjoy.
Yep. Disturbia.
That one probably gets overlooked because it's basically a remake of Hitchcock's movie Rear Window.
Yes, and I've seen it. It's not too bad. Our remake. It's like one of the better ones out there.
I agree.
We shall leave like a few of them nameless.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I like it's like an interesting modern day twist on it. So, Aragon, based on the book.
From what I heard, they changed a lot, which is why the sequel never came out.
Well, I have the book somewhere.
I've got it.
Okay. So, anyhow, I saw this movie. I watched this movie. I liked it. I thought it was a good movie.
I was actually talking about this movie with Eurowin Plays one day when we were hanging out, and he said that they changed probably like 50% of the book to make this movie, which is why it tanked at the box office and never got a sequel.
I don't see why. It's a good movie.
It's good for what it was, but like I said, they changed the source material too much, which is probably why I didn't get the sequel.
Shoot 'em up. We all know what this movie's about. We all know what people say about this movie. They love the action, but the storyline's not really there.
Right.
And people hate the scene where this woman's trying to discipline her child and he interrupts. You know, pretty much making the mother... The child's being a bad little bastard.
Oh, yeah.
And he's there reminding her and punches her.
Yeah.
I think he punches her.
I think so.
And he's like, he had no real place to fucking do it.
Right.
That's what I hear a lot of people say. Yeah, I like about that movie. Miami Vice with Colin Farrell and Jamie Foxx.
Basically a remake of the TV show, which is probably why it would be considered underrated.
It's not good. Oh, I've seen it once, and I guess people just don't really watch TV show remakes into movies.
Well, look what happened with the A-Team, and this came before that.
Look what happened with Charlie's Angels. One episode that was pulled off the air. Oh, look, nice segue too. Charlie's Angels 1 and 2. This movie was pretty damn good.
Yeah, they both were.
My favorite one was the second one. I saw it in the theaters, and that's pretty awesome.
My favorite's the first one.
Yep. People overlook these because, I guess, it's a remake of the TV show into a couple movies.
Yeah, but, I mean, Drew Barrymore, Cameron Diaz, Lucy Liu, they did a good job.
I could plainly think about the storylines and crap like that, and unrealistic fighting. I just like, oh, you watch Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon?
Yeah.
Matrix?
All of them use wires nowadays.
Yeah. These were good movies.
Plus the fact, I mean, I was going to point out, Drew Barrymore produced these movies.
Yeah, and these are damn good.
They are. She did a good job.
And finally, my personal ultimate favorite underachieving movie, Elektra.
I don't know why this movie gets so much shit.
They said bad writing, bad acting, and all that. And it's like, you are fucking idiots. This movie is awesome. Great.
It is.
I love the writing. I love the... Jennifer Garner made a good Elektra. The storyline is good. I mean, they do keep up... They do have the handedness. And they do keep, like, Elektra's Marvel powers, like, to the original character.
Right.
And come on, people. It's freaking awesome.
I think it's underrated because when it came out, people didn't want an Elektra spinoff. You know, the hype was on Daredevil 2. Daredevil 2 never happened because Daredevil got shit on as well.
Which I don't understand why that got shit. That movie was good too. It pretty much kept up with the same storyline, except Daredevil getting trained by Styx. He just found these stuff shit on his own.
Yeah.
It pretty much kept his central powers,
right,
for the Marvel Universe in the movie. I mean, come on, people. Except for like her mother's death, which was not really part of the comic book series. It's pretty much Elektra.
Ladies and gentlemen, our resident comic book expert.
Yeah, because the only wonder and crap like that. I love you, Elektra.
So,
this is a funny story. Remember, we went to see that movie? What was it, Mr. and Mrs.
We went to see Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and you had bought that before it came out.
Yeah, at Glenn's. I saw it, grabbed it, and we got back. He was watching wrestling. I watched this. And after that, wrestling was still on. I watched it again. It was a damn good movie. That's why I watched it twice in a row. That's why
it's worth it.
I had that and the uncut version. It came with the comic book. I got it from him for Christmas for like $5.
It was either $5 or $7.50. I can't really remember.
Because my original copy of the unrated version was stolen. Pissed me off.
Don't feel bad. I've had movies stolen from me too.
Yep.
Countless times. But I think, is that it?
I got Sprite.
Oh yeah. Besides that, I got a Pepsi. But that is it for now. We will be back with a part 2. This is Little Rocker Cutie, 2005, also known as Andre. Chilling with the always awesome Buffyxenaman, also known as Chris. Telling you to enjoy life, enjoy some Skittles, enjoy some Starburst, and
eat the chicken.